Hello, my name is Mr. Wilke, and I'm here to teach you today about the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is a way of solving what's called a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation has a degree of 2, which means the highest exponent is 2, x squared. Highest exponent is the 2. All right? Makes the equation a quadratic. We're going to solve using what's called the quadratic formula. So if ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, then x equals the opposite of b, or negative b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. Now, let's look and see, does this actually work? So let's do a pretty easy one. This is already factored for us. So x would equal -3 or 4. Is that right? Zero product property says x plus 3 times x minus 4 equals 0. Either this is 0 or this is 0. Well, if x plus 3 is 0, -3 plus 3 would be 0, so x would be -3. If x minus 4 is 0, x would equal 4, because 4 minus 4 is 0. Okay, so if I multiply these out, I'm going to get x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 12, or... So now, if I want to solve x squared minus x minus 12 equals 0 using the quadratic formula, I've got to decide what's a, what's b, what's c. Well, a is the coefficient of the x squared term, which is 1. B is the coefficient of the x term, which is -1. C is the constant, which is -12. Is everybody okay with that? Okay? So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A is 1 because it's 1x squared minus 1x minus 12 equals 0. Cool? Cool. Okay. Now, let's plug in to our formula right here. So negative b would be negative 1 plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2a. All right, so this is x. Now, all we have to do with this is simplify. Okay, so let's go up here. The opposite of -1 is just 1, plus or minus square root. -1 squared is 1, minus 4, well, let's work this out. -4 times 1 is -4, times -12 is positive 48. So this is plus 48 all over 2 times 1, which is 2. So we've got 1 plus or minus root 49 all over 2. What's the square root of 49? 7 is correct. Good. Okay. So 1 plus or minus 7 over 2. Well, plus or minus, let's just rewrite this. 1 plus 7 over 2, 1 minus 7 over 2. What's 1 plus 7 over 2? Well, that's 8 over 2, which is 4. 1 minus 7 is -6 over 2 is -3. And we got the same answers, didn't we? And it's that easy. Okay, so let's do a harder one. Okay? (3x squared minus 5x plus 4 equals 0). Does this factor? I don't know. No idea. Do I want to try to factor it, or do I want to just jump right in to the quadratic formula? Way easier to just jump right in, isn't it? So, plug in. We've got negative 5 plus or minus square root b squared. Would it help if we put a, b, and c? Maybe. Do it. If you need to, do it. A is 3. B is negative 5. C is 4. Negative b, negative 5. Plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. Right? 4ac. All over 2a. And then all you have to do is simplify. So negative 5 is 5. That's 25 minus 4 times 3 times 4 is that's negative. We're done. There's no real solution. Okay? This is why I like to look at the discriminant first. Remember, the discriminant b squared minus 4ac. 25 minus 48 is negative 23. The discriminant's negative. Discriminant is less than 0, it's negative, there's no solutions. And that's it. Easy enough? Awesome.